Motivations with Deborah Franklin. Yes, y'all, it's a new year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We's a new year, new look, baby. We doing it all. We are going live in 2019. All right, we'll be right back with you for Motivational Moment. Everybody, welcome back, y'all. I'm so excited about this 2019. 2019 is going to be the year for you to make it happen. You know, we talked about this so much on last year. We said it was a time of shifting. It was a time for you to be doing your planning and your preparation. And y'all, when I tell you something got deposited in my spirit and I can't let it go, I have been sharing this since I've heard it, and I got to share it tonight because, y'all, 2018 had its purpose. Every year has its purpose, but something about this last year and this year is like really burning hard in my spirit because I'm seeing that God dropped this into me, and it just messed me totally up. I was floored. It was like I heard 2018 was your time for planning and preparation and getting to know the people and finding the connections and doing what you're supposed to do. But guys, 2019 is your year for manifestation and execution. You have got to get up and make it happen. You have got to take everything, all your connections. Yeah, you may have had something and started something and it failed. You may have made connections. You may have went to meetings. You may have done things and you just said like, God, why is this not working? But guys, this year is your year to make it happen. I don't care what you're doing. Whether you have been planning to write the book, it has to be written. That book has to be written. It has to be published. If you said that you were going on a speaking tour, it has to be, you have to start getting yourself booked. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you're saying. But this year it has got to manifest. It has got to come to pass. And you have got to be in execution mode. You cannot sit around waiting for something to happen. This is the year to make it happen because your 2020 is going to be your year of overflow. You cannot have overflow if you have not gotten anything to produce. So you have to produce, guys. You got to get it done because, guys, if I can motivate you to do nothing else but to get up and make it happen, you might be saying, well, I didn't do a lot of planning in 2018. I didn't do a lot of connections. Well, y'all, it's still early in the game. You have got to get up and make it happen. This is just the first week of January. You have got to make it jumpstart. Y'all, just like they put the cables on the car and from one car to another car, and you got to get the power from something from another source. But y'all, that's what you got to do. If you got to connect to somebody else who has the power, who has the gumption, you have got to connect with them because you got to start turning that engine. It might be just going over and over and over, but eventually it's got to ignite. The fire in you has got to be ignited. You have got to get ignited right now because I want you to be at that place. I want you to go to that next level. I want you to be where God has called you to be because this is your season. This is your time. You have got to make it happen. I don't care what your past looks like. I don't care what things have happened to you because you have got to learn to repent. You have got to know that redemption is where it is. You got to know that you are it. You have the it factor. It doesn't matter what it is, but you got it. Everything that you need, everything that you want to be is dwelling deep in you. Now it's time for it to rise up. It is time for it to rise up. It is time for it to rise up. You have got to make that thing happen. You have got to get ready to take yourself to another level. You have got to show where you are going because you know what? When God has ordained you to go to your next level in life, you have to make it because God is not a person that he should lie. When you know what God has called you to do, you have got to do it because remember, when your purpose and your destiny collides, your empire has to rise. You cannot walk in your purpose and destiny and not expect something to happen. You have got to start expecting it. And when you expect it, you will see it. So again, manifestation and execution, manifestation, execution, manifestation, because you have got to execute. You have got to get up, push play, and do the doggone thing. Guys, I want you to do nothing else. You have got to make it. You don't sit around. Don't be about it, but do about it. You got to stop. The shift has happened, and you got to be ready. The shift has happened, and you got to be ready. Be ready to take it to that next level, because you are in a place right now that everybody around you wants to help you. Everybody around you wants to help you go to that next level. But guess what? You have got to open your mouth and be ready. Because I promise you, I'm not sharing anything with you that I have not experienced myself. I am not sharing anything with you that I have not experienced myself. Because the phone has been ringing. Literally, we have a caller calling into the show that we're getting ready to talk to. But when I tell you, I have been doing some things, and people have been calling me saying, what can I do to help you take your show to the next level? What can I do to help you go to where you're going? How about you come be a speaker at this, and you come do this? I didn't ask for this. And that's why I'm telling you, when you line yourself up and you operate in your purpose and you start working towards your destiny, it has to happen. Guys, we'll be right back with you, and we're going to be taking calls after this. Welcome back, guys. I'm so excited about what's going to happen for you and for me in 2019. Now, tonight's show, I am doing something I have never done before. A lot of people say, well, you got that preacher in you. Well, tonight I'm going to be real preachery. Yes, I am. My Cash App is on the screen, and we have never, never. Yeah, they laughing at me in the audience, y'all, because I got a preacher in the building tonight. I got a pastor in the building tonight. I got an R&B singer that his mama made him come on my show. I'm so excited about this, because tonight is a night that people are making things happen. And because your family, y'all, I'm going to talk about this when I talk to him, because sometimes your family see in you and make you do what you get tired of doing. But you got to depend on your family, because sometimes your family will see stuff in you before you see it in yourself, and or make you do stuff that you be mad. Like my mama like this. Why you didn't call and tell them you was in town? I'm tired. That's why I ain't call and tell nobody I was in town. Next thing I know, my phone ringing. I was like, come on, man. She done snuck in the back of the room and called somebody. So then I end up having to be at my uncle's church, somebody else's church. And I'm like, yo, I just wanted to rest. But but that's your mom and them. But that's how they do. But y'all, I have never asked for anything. We have actually been self-sufficient with the show, but we are ready to take the show to another level. Our Cash App is available on the screen. It's Cash App Combo Deborah. If it's on Facebook, it's right there on the information line. And I really want you to sow into. I've never even called this before, but again, I have to start claiming things. I have to start speaking those things as though they are, because this is a ministry. And a ministry, it's a ministry because the goal for Conversations with Deborah Franklin has never been about me. It's always been about developing a platform where other people can come and have the opportunity for other people to see them, to help them to take themselves to another level. And in order for us to have this platform available, we need your assistance. We have not asked for sponsors. A lot of people say, well, why don't you charge people to come on your show? Y'all, I can't do that. And I'm being real honest with you because it's hard for me to do those kind of things because I always think about the opportunities that I wish I could have had, but then everybody wanted to charge for every little thing. So y'all, tonight, I'm being so transparent. In 2019, it's all about me. I said, you got to open your mouth in order to get what you need. So I am opening my mouth and I am letting you know that the Cash App is the $ Convo Deborah. That's CONVODEBORAH. All right, guys, we'll be right back with our first guest. We're going to have Pastor Q is in the house. We'll be right back. Welcome.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. It's Monday. And it's been a crazy Monday for me because I was like, Lord, I felt like I ain't get nothing done today. But y'all, I'm so excited about having a fellow radio host joining the show. I got excited when I saw that because it's not often that people that have their own shows get a chance to go and be on somebody else's show. Exactly. And it's like it's so cool because a lot of times say, well, why you gonna go on their show? Why can't they come on your show? Don't you know that's gonna be taken from their audience? I'm like, it's not even that heavy.
It's not that serious.
It's like, because the thing is, I feel like when shows cross, I introduce you to my audience, your audience is introduced to us, and it's not like we're taking anything from anybody because the pie is big.
Absolutely.
And so, but we're gonna dive right on in to what you are doing now. So tell us about your show, The Cookout.
The Cookout was a show I came up with. By me being a pastor, I didn't want to have another quote-unquote religious show, like a Christian show. So The Cookout is what it is. When you have a cookout, everybody's invited. So I created a platform where everybody can come on there regardless of what your beliefs, gender, what you do, sing, dance, rap, whatever. It's an opportunity for you to come on in and do what you do. It's like a cookout. Anybody can come through.
So in other words, like a Medea cookout, everybody just hang out and do.
Everybody just come and hang out. It ain't no religious prep. You just come you do what you do.
I like it. So what do y'all do at the cookout? Now, do y'all actually go somewhere for the cookout, or is it a platform that y'all create?
It's just called the Cookout. We on WNDC Radio. We're a platform. We're up there 2 hours. We have different people come up there. Guests. Sometimes people actually bring real food. People bring drinks. They said that they drink whatever they like. You drink your. So yeah, it's like a real cookout.
Yeah, he really was trying to say he turned water into wine. I know it. I heard you because he's like
to Ciroc.
Look, see, I think this the wrong show. We're gonna put you on the lounge board.
Water to Ciroc.
Yeah, that's another show that I used to team up with on Saturdays. But yeah, so that's cool though, because I feel like everybody has their space, and it's like, because that's not my audience and that's not something I would do, doesn't mean that that's not something that you can do and accomplish. So what have you seen at having a ministry like that? How have you seen that change how you reach the people?
Well, my thing is, what people know, know I'm a pastor, they don't expect me to be down to earth.
Right.
You know, they don't expect me to be able to listen to hip hop, and people come on the show. The first thing they say, "Hey man, it's okay we curse." You know, man, they could be you. I mean, I don't want you to come on this show and conform to me. I'm on the show. I have this show to give you the platform to be able to showcase your talent. So, you know, as a pastor, I want to just be able to show love before I show religion. So the cookout is an opportunity for me to just to get kicked back, let you do you. I'm not bringing you on there to try to pray over top of you or try to get you to change your life. You just come on. It's regular. It's every day.
I love it. I love it because, you know, it's like so many times we get so caught up in doctrine.
Right.
And that we miss the people because all we're talking about is doctrine and not saying that, you know, if you start to accept people for who they are, then as old folks would say, you're going to see the skirt line go down and when you start to love them, because then they're going to start seeing that maybe if I stop looking like quote unquote the world, then I can start being something else and something different. So how have you seen lives transformed by you just being open?
I mean, people, if you're just transparent and then you let people know, you know what, man, I'm not just a person out here just like teaching religion and a Bible thumper. You know, I'm a real individual. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what has made my message powerful and allowed me to be relatable. You know, a lot of people say, man, you don't look like a pastor, because I'm not trying to look like a pastor. I mean, most people want to look religious. So you have religious clothing that you wear so that you can look clean. You know, but most people who are filthy try to look clean. I already know I'm clean, so I don't need to dress it up. You know what I'm saying?
You killing me. Yeah. You killing it because, you know, I have this, because I really hate clergy collars. I hate robes.
Me too.
I hate them Jesus pins.
Me too.
I hate all of that. But, you know, in certain areas you have to wear it. But I really hate that stuff because the thing is, I want you to accept me for me. You know, I want you to accept me for who I am. But then, I mean, we got to talk about like your past. So how do they deal with, you know, you put in your bio that you did time in prison. Yeah. So how do you take that, I guess? And because we're talking about redemption, how do you work that into your message with the people that you are ministering to?
I mean, my thing is, at one time about it was something that I was ashamed of, but you know, God preaches in His word to not to be ashamed, you know, where you come from. You know what I'm saying? My thing is that I let people know I've been to prison, I sold drugs, I was in these streets, and it's not something I was proud of because a lot of things took place. But, you know, it was by the grace of God I was able to come out of there. But, you know, it makes me, I think, people are able to relate to me from that, and I use it. You know, some people may say, you know, they don't believe you can change, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to convince anyone. You know, I already know who I am in God, but I think, you know, it helps when people say, you know what, you've actually been through something. You know, my dad wasn't a pastor. I didn't grow up in a church and it didn't get handed down to me. I'm a real pastor because I have a real relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Like most people that go to jail, you get religion, but I bought mine out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ordained me. A man didn't ordain me. You know what I'm saying? A man didn't even teach me the Bible. Self-taught by the Holy Spirit. So, you know, I'm the real deal. I mean, nobody can even ordain me to do this. I'm ordained by God. And a lot of people can't even speak to say that because the first time you tell people, you know, what church, the first person says, who's your shepherd, who's your overseer? I don't have no overseer. You know, I already know my calling.
Right.
You know, so, yeah.
Well, I think we take overseer and we take titles wrong.
Very wrong.
And sometimes, you know, I think at the end of the day, we all need a spiritual covering.
We do.
We all need somebody that we can go to. So I think that's more of a better question to ask. Because a lot of times your spiritual covering or the person that you quote unquote report to spiritually may not be your pastor.
Right.
Because I know I report to my pastor, but I felt closer to one of my uncles who is a pastor. But that means absolutely, but that's who if I had to really go to somebody, I would say that would be, let's say, my pseudo per se spiritual covering. But I feel like to say that, I think because that way we don't get people confused and saying, well, I don't report to nobody. But yeah, we do. Because at the end of the day, when we say that we are ministering, we actually have to have somebody that can minister to us as well. So it's like, you know, and I get what you're saying, totally. Because when you walk in ministry, it goes so many different levels, especially when you really transparent with the people, especially when you don't have a problem with having somebody that sings hip hop or rap or what's that new stuff that they got going on that I mess up because I tell them all the time I can't remember. I'm old school, so I'm from Texas, so we was chopped and screwed for us. So that kind of stuff, and it's like when you can say that I don't have a problem with that, with those type of people coming on your show, then that says a lot.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they don't know that you might be having Bible study with them when they leave. They don't know that you sowing a seed to maybe go back and help them go to a different level spiritually. And so, and I think that's where we have to really begin to share, quote unquote, the wealth of Christianity.
Well, sometimes, the problem with ministry is that we shun the people we're supposed to be reaching.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you think of, well, I can't be around this type of people. Well, who are you trying to reach then? I mean, did God send you to the good people? Where are they at?
Well, I already know my ministry,
right.
And I already know that I can't. Sometimes I don't have a problem with dealing with certain people, but I know I can't stay there for very long. And
right.
It's just like I had a friend of mine. I never forget. I told him, I said, we were all in ministry together, but I'm not going in the crack house. I'm not going in there. I'm not going to knock on the door, but I'll drive the car. I know my lane. I know to stay in my lane. But I know they going to get out, jump in, go and do the whole thing. But I think at the end of the day, we have to be transparent enough to know where our ministry is.
Right.
And like you could probably go into prison and get more accomplished than I could ever do.
Right.
Because you can talk the talk. Whereas, and I think that's another thing that we have to start realizing too, that we all got our own lane of ministry.
Absolutely.
Because I can get on and go into a board meeting and have and talk church and nobody ever know that I was talking church. But at the end of the day, I got somebody ready to get saved. Or I got some child ready to change their ways, because right now I teach high school by day.
That's what's up.
So I tell them quick. I said, okay, so you coming in here smoking weed today. All right, we're going to pray now. We're going to let the Lord use you tomorrow. And you're going to get that Febreze. And they said, did you hear what she just said? No, this is what I told them. I said, okay, so we're going to start working on that because I need you to pass the test and get a good job, amen. They said, did you hear what she just said? She just said, amen, and took us to church. And you heard what she said, pass the peaches. I sure did. Now you got it. But at the end of the day, it's like I can minister to them and talk to them in a way that they get it.
Right.
Whereas somebody else has said the same thing, they would have got cussed out, beat up, and some more stuff. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we all got our own ministry, and I think that's the beauty of Christianity.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of everybody. Everybody got a different flavor, and I love it. And that's the beauty of it, because we all got our lane, and we all got a way to do what we got to do. Now I do know you got something coming up because you're working on a project with one of my friends. What you got going on?
What project?
I'm gonna tell Shani. You said what project?
You talking about the speaking conference? That's
yes, speaking conference for His Favorite Magazine.
His Favorite Magazine. That's right.
Those
a little ways away. I thought when you say coming up, I'm thinking like the next couple of weeks.
Well, unless you coming back in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, I can come back. If the door's open, I come with.
We always looking for people. We like to have fun, and we like people to come back. But tell us, what are you doing with His Favorite Magazine? Because for those of you who don't know, Shani Woodson now is one of my good friends, and she owns His Favorite Magazine, and she is getting ready to do her new launch, y'all. I'm so excited for her. We're going to be working together and doing some projects together, but this gentleman is also on her team. So what are you going to be doing with His Favor?
Definitely, she got the speaking conference coming up. She's actually my publicist. A lot of my booking and things go through her. So definitely working with her, man. She's a great person. A lot of things she's doing, a lot of insight. So just, add on to what she's already doing. Anything that way she can use me, like the speaking conference coming, I believe, is in May. That's what's up, man. Just being able to be used.
I love it. I love it because her magazine, she's taking it so many different routes. She's taking it to where they are going to be in Spanish. They're going to be doing a teen Christian magazine, and I think that is phenomenal. So what portion? Are you going to be one of the writers or consultants as well?
No, not one of the writers. Probably just most one of the speakers.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be hot. So what do you think you're going to be speaking about?
I would definitely like to tie it into being, anything that has to do with the favor of God, my testimony, ministry in general, anything that's inspiring, inspirational. So yeah.
So
definitely.
okay, now you shouldn't have said this one because see, this is one of my favorite topics. You got to come on, deal. Tell the people something about the favor of God. What is favor, sir?
Favor ain't fair. I mean,
Every day,
favor,
all day, it ain't
favor,
fair.
It's grace. It's unmerited favor. That's what it is. You know, it's God. Favor is God's reason just for doing what He wanted to do with no explanation behind it. It's God's goodness with no explanation. That's what favor is. You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
it.
Yeah. So when I think of God's favor, people are like, why you?
Why
I'm
not
just
me?
favor. There's no explanation behind it.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
because I always like to say favor is when you least expect it, something happens.
Yeah.
And you don't know why. A door opens and you just like, well, I didn't call them and ask them for that. But yet and still it manifests itself. So it's like you talk about favor. How can you say God's favor has, what is one of your main testimonies when you talk about God's favor for you?
I mean, like Joseph, man, I had a lot of favor when I was in prison. I mean, you know, when I think about favor also, too, favor is a way of you don't deserve what you're getting. So you have favor. I mean, it's like Noah. Noah had God. The Bible says when God decided to destroy the earth, that Noah found favor. How do you find favor? I mean, what was he doing? You know, God just looked down and chose it. There's no explanation. He never told you what Noah did to be able to gain the favor. He just said he found favor. And you know, God can do that. He can pick and choose who he wants to favor. You know, I'm one time before I think I had a conversation with somebody and said, "Why do you think God spared you?" And you know, I come up how the conversation started. I was looking through some old pictures I had one day, and at least all my old pictures when I was hanging out and stuff, at least it was like 2 guys dead in every picture.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I started saying, you know, you start looking at it. And I said, that's God's favor. And what I believe about God's favor is that God will keep you here if you have a purpose. You know, and I truly believe that God kept me because he knew my purpose for him. So he spared me. So, you know, always about my testimony is the exchange. I recognized that I was doing the same thing that those guys that had been shot and killed or got life in prison. But it wasn't because I was slick. It's because I was favored. You know, I was chosen. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, I owe my life because my life was spared.
Right.
So when I look at it that way, that's what, you know, favor represents to me also.
Right. And then another thing, when you bring up Noah and you bring up some of the even with Lot, they found favor because they said yes. They had a yes in their spirit, because Noah wouldn't have, if he never said yes, he would have never gotten the instructions to how to build the ark. If he had never said yes, he would have never gotten the instructions to what animals to put on the ark. If he had never said yes and or followed instructions, the favor of God of him even being able to send out the dove to find out that there was dry land for them to go out on, he would have never did it. So you find favor when you give God your yes. And I think that's what we have to really start to show people, is that if favor is not fair, it's not fair because you didn't say yes. You kept saying no and you had a closed heart. But when you have an open heart and you say yes and you commit to what God has called you to do, then you're going to find favor. And I think that's the biggest thing. Because think about this. If you had been in that jail cell and you had never said yes, you could still be in the jail cell. Who's to say that you wouldn't have got out in 7 years? But you had to give your yes in order to get out. Because I tell that to everybody. Just because you got favor, you can have it. But if you start saying no while you're operating in your favor, you're going to be like Lot's wife, because she had the favor turned around and now she a pillow of salt. So do you want to be the salt that gives flavor? Or do you want to be the salt that's just sitting there doing absolutely nothing?
That's a good word.
You know, you got the, and it's like having favor. Oh my God, favor is just so amazing to me, because a lot of times we don't even realize how much favor we have because we don't want to say yes. We don't want to just give over. We want everything to be easy. We think having favor is easy. I mean, you know, how would you explain to somebody that thinks favor is just something you just get because you get up and turn the lights on?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work like that. The Bible tells you faith without works is dead. You know, like
my God, come on, Ephesians. Yes, amen.
You gotta be able to, you know, once you commit to it, you know, the Bible talk about God give you the desires of your heart. But He says you will find favor with God and man when you trust in Him. So there are benefits that come along with, like you saying yes. You're saying yes, Lord, I will. There's a lot of benefits that come along with that. The favor of going to the store and somebody doing something for you they don't never do for somebody else. Favor of somebody giving you something for a certain price. Favor of somebody, got some tickets to a ball game or something and they think of you. Favor is just getting, unexpected things, God placing things on people's hearts to do stuff for you. That's what God will do. You know what I'm saying? With the favor of God, you don't have to kiss up.
Exactly.
With the favor of God, you're going to get what you're supposed to have.
Most definitely.
So that's one thing about God's favor. You don't miss when you got God's favor because He's always going to put you on somebody's heart and somebody's going to want to do something for you.
Exactly. Because I tell everybody I find favor in the parking lot because I don't never have to park at the back. I roll in and I got the third space. So, y'all, I have really enjoyed having you on tonight. So, if you could tell the people one thing, what would you tell them? What would be your word of inspiration for tonight's people that are watching?
I would just say, man, just continue to trust God. A lot of us in places, especially with the government shut down, those in the government, trust God. Don't worry about Trump. He's supposed to be there. It's supposed to work out the way it work out. God don't want us focused on nothing else but Him. Mm-hmm. I would let everybody know that anything that we're dealing with, God already has in control. It's already written. He's over all things. We just have to trust Him. God didn't allow problems to happen for us to run to the problem, but to run to Him, and He'll handle the problem.
My God. Yes, indeed. Because you know what? I say Trump was there to make us start praying again.
He was. Absolutely.
Trump was there to increase our prayer life. Trump is there for us to increase our trust and our faith. Because if you don't have faith right now, you just might as well just hang that joint up. It's a wrap. So how can they find you, Pastor Q? Because I know you do some services online, right?
Yeah, I do all my services online. I'm on the Facebook under Quantrell Smith, Quantrell Smith. I'm at the Harborside Hotel, 6400 Oxon Hill Road, Oxon Hill, Maryland. My 8 o'clock service, my 10 o'clock service at 116 T Street Northeast. I do Bible study every Tuesday live on Facebook also too. So if you follow me on Facebook, you basically know where I am.
Awesome,
I try to go live as much as possible. Yeah.
You know what, and that's a whole nother show. Because to talk about the cyber sanctuary and how many churches are going to cyber sanctuaries, because I actually am a member of a church where like 3/4 of our membership really was online. It's not like we didn't have people there in the sanctuary, but people were logged. We had so many people logged in. And it's like, it's amazing because then you have to start thinking about, because I heard a question posed. So how do you have all these members in your cyber sanctuary, but then what happens how are you really pastoring those people? But we're going to come back and talk about that. Because, how do you start to develop that new members class for your online members? What happens when they die? You don't know them. How are you going to do the funeral? I'm just saying. But, it's just some things that we have to start thinking about going into this next phase of churchdom. Because the face of the church is really changing. Right. And and you're already on the tip of it because you're doing so much online. But it's like, what do we do as far as the ministry? But y'all, that's a whole nother show. Because y'all know when I start talking church, I can take y'all there for a minute on church. But y'all, we want to thank Pastor Q for joining us tonight. We have enjoyed you. Thank you so much. You got to come back.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come hang out at the cookout too. So here, look, we invited ourselves to the show. But all right, guys, we'll be right back after these messages.
Absolutely.
welcome back to Conversations with Deborah Franklin. Y'all, we are getting ready to have a live performance by DC's finest. Y'all, R&B and pop singer. That felt good to say. R&B and pop singer, Mr. Deron Novay.
I sent a text, I'm thinking about you. And you know what I'm trying to do. I sent you a Uber, so go and get in it. Got something special for you, baby, over here when you pull up. Can't wait till you pull up. OMG, can't breathe. The way you work that body. Love it when you get this freaky. The way you put it on me. Can't nobody. Can't nobody. Can't nobody. Can't nobody do it like you. Girl, you know what you walked into. And you know what you came to do. So now you're here, oh yes, the way was so worth it. Love the way you look at me and work it. Tell me, do you love it? I know that you love it. OMG, can't breathe. The way you work that body. Love it when you get this freaky. The way you put it on me. Can't nobody. Can't nobody. Can't nobody. Can't nobody do it like you. It's nights like this I hope never ends. I hate to see you leave in the morning. You're a very special woman, and I want you to know you're mine tonight. Nobody. Ooh. Can't know nobody. Nobody do it like you.
I want to know about this Uber. Who you done sent the Uber to pick up? Why was they going in an Uber? Yes, I put it out there. Answer the question. And your mama listening.
I was preparing the house.
For. Ah, got you. You wasn't expecting that one. Okay, come on, prepare in the house. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna stay safe tonight. I'm gonna keep it as a family show. Amen.
Keep it PG. Keep it PG.
Yeah, PG. Might need to keep it G at the rate you sending somebody for an Uber. That ain't no PG-13 either. I know. Yeah, somebody said your mama watching. I ain't gonna go too far.
Oh Lord.
I'm gonna keep it G.
Love you, Mom.
Yeah. But you know what? So what was your motivation behind that song anyway? I mean, all jokes aside, it was really good because you kind of had a little modulation. I said, okay, you better hit that falsetto. So what was your motivation behind that?
The motivation behind that song, well, honestly, when I first wrote that song, I had some friends over, and they just said, write something hot.
Okay.
And I said, okay. So I just freestyled the lyrics.
I freestyled
the lyrics.
That's probably because this your girlfriend in the studio with you. And
sure
you
is.
Okay, that's why he don't want to tell
sure
the truth.
Is.
Well, if she ain't your girlfriend, she is now because you done put it out there in the street. All right, so we're gonna leave that alone too. See, that's what happens when you travel with your amen. All right, moving right along. So, what are you doing to get out there as far as getting your single out there? Because I know coming on here you got viewers, people that are watching, they're commenting. So, what else are you doing to get that single out? Where are you performing in the area?
Honestly, I decided to do some rebranding. I was doing a lot of performances last year. I've been in New York, I've been to Miami, and I decided to go in a new direction.
Okay, and what does that mean to you?
As far as the new direction is concerned, well, I am an artist. One of the biggest problems that I have nowadays is a lot of music tends to sound exactly the same.
I'm glad you said it and not me, because everything sounds the same. You be like, wait a minute, that just
like it's starting to be
everything is a remake.
Yes, it's about remakes, samples, and even the beats nowadays they sound relatively repetitive, and everybody has that same sound, and I got tired of it, and I didn't want my music to sound like everybody else's. So what I decided to do was I decided to go back in the studio and start creating more. A lot of the inspiration is from home, DC.
I thought you were gonna say your mama, but we're gonna talk about that later. But anyway, when you say that, so you're a young man. So are you saying that the beat machine has taken over, or has made music now too quote unquote easy or too?
I think people are scared.
Boxy?
I think people are scared to just jump out there and be creative. I think people are trying to stay safe.
I can dig it, because it seems like nobody wants to use a real band anymore. Nobody wants to hear what a real guitar would sound like in the studio, or even have to write music, because just doing a beat, it can be hot. Yeah, you like it, but then it's like, after so long, you want to, do something that you can groove to.
Right.
So are you going back to using live instruments, or are you just going more creative in what you create with, let's say, with the beat machine?
Right. I'm using the technology to create a completely
you can tell
new
the
sound.
age here. Yeah.
But with that new sound, it opens up the door for live instrumentation when I'm doing live performances, if the venue allows. The space allows me to do so, because a lot of venues, they're very cramped and small.
No comment.
You can't really use a live band.
Right.
Nowadays.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, because I know, like, we're getting ready to take a different turn with our show, where we're going to be able to bring in a live band and have some live interaction with musicians. So it's like, how do you do that and still stay true to what you're doing? Without the live band, how do you stay true, like you said, with your creativity? How do you stay true to that?
Honestly, just think outside the box. Just think outside the box. Don't stay in that same lane that's been done for the past, I don't know how long. I mean, when I hear songs on the radio, if I even feel like listening to the radio, when I hear songs on the radio, I feel like
it could be one artist, then a totally different artist comes on, and I feel like I've heard that beat 15 times in the same hour.
Right.
And I have to turn the radio off. I find myself listening to songs from the early 2000s, and I find myself listening to songs that came out possibly 5 years ago. I don't even listen to stuff that came out this year.
Well, I thought you was going to say
or
early.
2018.
Actually, I thought you was getting ready to say the early 2000s is old school. And I'm going to say, boy, get out my show.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm getting ready to put you plumb out of here. You talking about 2000 is old school. But anyway, you know, it's like, I totally get it. And it's like, you know, music is definitely taking a change, and I'm glad that I'm beginning to see more young people take hold and take responsibility to what music is sounding like, and that they're trying to make a new sound, because I really haven't heard. It's like I've heard more vulgarity, you know, I've heard that, but I really have not heard any new music.
Right.
It's like you can throw it out there, talk about your throwing, because it's like old school used to just go back and they talked about it, but they didn't really, you know, it's like they alluded to it.
Right.
So are you gonna start doing some more alluding in your music? Outside of telling somebody to go get an Uber? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it so that when you hear one of my songs on the radio, you know instantly that it's me.
Deron.
Right, it's me. Like, what made James Brown James Brown?
Because that Joker could scream. You didn't know nothing what he was saying.
Absolutely.
And it was just like, then you like, okay, we got it.
But as soon as he opened his mouth, you knew it was James.
But at the end of the day, he had a live band, and that band was slamming.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you can turn it on now. You don't know what he's saying.
Nope.
Because all I know is, and then when you look at, you play too much. And then like my dad was B.B. King, so all I knew was ding, 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 and I was like, oh, in my mind, that's what I thought a guitar was supposed to sound like.
Right.
But it's like they all had their own sound. If you heard B.B. King and Bobby Blue Bland, even though it was the blues, they still had their
own distinctive.
Yes. And it's like, that's what it is. And so I definitely can appreciate that thought process of you saying that you want your own sound, and I applaud you for that, because so many people want to be the next Michael Jackson, the next Prince, and I'm like, guess what? They did that. What are you going to do to be the next you?
Or the first and one and only.
That's even more better.
You
the
know what I'm
first
saying?
and one and only.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So I totally agree with that. I'm so excited. But you know, we have to talk about something else that's near and dear to my heart, and that's family.
Okay.
How important is family to you?
Family is very important, especially from a supportive aspect. You can't get by day to day without family. I mean, I find myself calling my mother like at least twice a week just to see how she's doing. Not even asking for anything. My father too. Those two are my backbone. I couldn't imagine what would happen if I lost either one of them.
Yeah, your mom is definitely very supportive and very aggressive.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna be
absolutely
honest with you. Let me tell you what had happened was we had put the show together and we were supposed to have someone else perform tonight, and they backed out. So immediately we was like, we didn't know what to do because it's the first of the year,
right?
And most people that they're already booked, you know, for the first of the year. You know how the first of the year is,
right?
Either they on vacation or they gone. It's whatever. And so I posted it and I said, look, if anybody's in the DMV that is available to perform on my show Monday night, do you know who the first person was that inboxed me?
Angela Thompson.
And you, baby, and she wasn't letting it go.
Nope.
Because she was not letting it go, honey. She sent us clips. She was calling. I said, yes. I said, this mama here is on it. And I love it. Because a lot of times we tend to take our parents for granted.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Then the blessing is that she sees something in you and she believes in your dream. How far would you think you would be if your parents didn't believe in your dream?
Well, honestly, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't know the producers that I have.
Wow.
If it wasn't for my mother, I don't even think I would have my voice, because she's a vocal beast.
So she need to be. So you need putting her on point.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely putting her on the spot.
Okay, so we know we're gonna be booking her for the next show. Okay, I see how this going. Okay, they trying to make it a family affair.
Well, when I was little, I used to imitate her. I used to try to reach the notes that she was reaching, and that's how it really started. That's how it really started. So without her, I wouldn't be singing at all.
I love it. I love it. Well, I thank you for coming on the show. You have been wonderful. You have been patient, and you have definitely blessed us with your talent and your skills. So how can someone find you? How can they get a copy of your single?
I am everywhere. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, any streaming service available, you name it, I'm there. My Instagram is Durano Vey Official. Facebook is Durano Vey, and of course Twitter is Durano Vey. So
and that's
everybody follow me.
Novej.
Novej.
Yeah, y'all gotta spell that because I was messing all that up. We with the little accent. Well, y'all, it's been real. It's been fun. I've had a great time with my guests tonight. We love you to life. And again, make sure that you are doing what you got to do to make your 2019 where it needs to be, because this is our season to execute and manifest. All right, guys. Love you to life. Have a great one.